Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by now. Here's JP.
Oh, my Lord. We are back in studio. I gave you the big studio shot, too, Timmy, if you want to show us the grandeur of the FanStream Sports studio that we have today.
You do.
Intern Danny is in here as well. We've got so much to get to. We got Kurt Badenhausen from Sportico, formerly of Forbes, who's waiting in the bullpen eagerly as he does his other work to get in here and talk about the sale of the Rays. So we've got I'll just be honest with you. I've got so much information dumped into my head over the past 24 hours. And most of it I have to keep in confidence, but I'm going to try to paint a contextual picture of where I think this stadium sale of the Rays sits right now as we speak. And I'm still very much trying to choose my words correctly here. Very confident in the reporting that we have done. I'm very confident in the reporting that we have done and where I think this is heading. But what we do know about Stu Sternberg and Major League Baseball is anything can happen. Anything can and will happen in this crazy pursuit. I even saw a report today on Twitter. I don't know. I did not corroborate this. John Fisher had his big press conference yesterday announcing the building of the stadium. And now there's reports that he rented bulldozing equipment to put in the back of the pictures and that the deal isn't all done. I don't know. So, and this is Major League Baseball right now with these two franchises. It is a circus. And I don't think anybody really knows for 100%. And I'll sit here and tell you right now, I don't know 100% what's happening. And I'm going to contextualize this and tell you what I know, what I can say, and where I think it's heading. But there's a lot to get to. And yes, we will get to the Wander Franco story, which is another absolute bombshell. Yesterday, it appears that the case has fallen apart. The prosecution's case has fallen apart. They're going for lesser charges. And it appears at this point that Wander Franco is going to have an opportunity to resume his baseball career. Again, we don't know where that's going, but the charges have been drastically reduced, a lot of recanting of testimony. So we'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the Wander Franco case. And there are so many tentacles to this Rays sale that we have to get to. And, of course, as predicted on yesterday's show, Chandler Simpson coming back to the Rays. Yes, Chandler Simpson coming back to the Rays after going down to AAA. No idea why he was sent down, and Christopher Morel was kept up here. Meisner's going out. He's being DFA'd, so Chandler Simpson likely the candidate to come back. And, boy, that does bolster this lineup, and there's more to come. As Hassan Kim is coming back, who do they take out? And we were toying with the lineup, Timmy, that Kevin Cash is going to have to play with. And for God's sakes, if we just get rid of Morel and we don't have to put him in the lineup, what guy does not belong here? I mean, this lineup is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Speed, power, everything you want up and down the lineup.
I saw you posted the lineup on.
That was my go-to lineup.
X.
Yeah, and how'd that look?
That looked pretty powerful.
Yeah. There's a lot of speed, a lot of contact, a lot of power in that lineup. There's a little bit of power, not a ton of power, but it's an explosive lineup that's going to circle the bases. That's what I see. And you know what I see?
I see for a team that's just 2 games out of first place behind the Yankees right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see that along with the pitching that you've already had this season. I see that as a winner.
Yeah. I think the Rays were plus 5,000 a couple weeks ago to win the AL East. I don't know what the numbers are now. I dropped a little cash on it. Then I got to go check the number. But I should have loaded up. I should have felt I saw this coming. But yeah, this Rays team is going to be, with the starting pitching, one of the best in the league. The relief pitching had the best ERA as of last week. So
right now it's down to, depending on where you go, it's either plus 550, plus 600, or plus 475.
Yeah. And last week it was plus 5,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's crazy. Yeah. So, man, we got, there's a lot of great things going on with this team right now. And what's happening off the field, as good as what's going on the field, the best record in baseball since May 20th, I believe. What's going on off the field is book worthy. And yes, I'm going to do this documentary without question. And this chapter is going to be wild. It's going to be wild because here's what you got going on. All right. I'm going to try to just contextualize this. First of all, in the last 24 hours, I've spoken with two of the groups that are on the outside looking in at this point in terms of the letter of intent. And they are absolutely replete with the biggest names in Tampa Bay, the biggest businesses, the biggest names, the biggest money people in Tampa Bay. And in the next 24 hours, I'm going to have meetings at these locations of places in Tampa Bay with these folks to find out what they're saying and what they're hearing from Major League Baseball. Undisclosed locations,
Riveters,
private clubs. We're going to find out what's going on. I mean, this is novel type stuff, and it's going to be a great book, and it's going to be a great documentary. And then what's really developing here contextually is this continued battle between St. Petersburg and Tampa. Okay, in the next 24 hours or maybe in the next week, I don't know when it's going to hit, but the St. Pete Times is going to do a hit piece on Patrick Zalewski and Dreamfinders Homes. How do I know this? Well, a reporter by the name of Rebecca Leibson has been sniffing around in the Facebook group Dreamfinders Homes Horror Stories.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I can tell you from firsthand knowledge that there's a lot of horror stories. And I'm not at liberty to go into them at this time, but you can. This is gonna. I'm not blowing the whistle on this because this is gonna be a huge hit piece in the St. Pete Times coming, on Zalewski. Number one, because he wants to build a stadium in Tampa, and the St. Pete Times is very desirous of keeping that stadium. I'm sorry, did I say St. Pete Times? That was a Freudian slip. My bad. The Tampa Bay Times. The Tampa Bay Times. My bad. Is very, as we've known for years by their reporting, that they want to keep this in St. Pete. Although they've acknowledged many times in their writings, to be fair, that Tampa would be a better location in terms of being accessible to the fans, more revenue in the long run, but that St. Pete is the place where the most upfront money can be received. And that's why Sternberg, after dogging St. Pete for years and years and saying it's not a major league city and coming up with the cockamamie Montreal St. Pete split city idea, had turned back to St. Pete because, whoa, you're going to give me $700 million of real estate for $50 million? Oh, okay. Well, let me take another look at that. Suddenly, this is a very major league city. Very major league. That's major league money right there. So now you have St. Pete and Tampa still battling for the rights to where we're going to build a stadium. Ken Welch, obviously the mayor who was screwed over by Stu Sternberg, and I warned him up front. It was going to happen. Sorry, Mayor. A lot of work for nothing. Still wants to get this stadium done and feels a new ownership group gives him that opportunity to do so. Even though Chris Lotfula and people on the St. Pete City Council and Pinellas have said the old deal doesn't need to be revisited. It needs to be reworked tremendously. And if it's reworked into something that's actually workable for the city of St. Pete and Pinellas with all the issues that they have from storms, then it won't be as attractive to any new ownership group coming in. Because unless you're getting a boondoggle in St. Petersburg where you can make a ton of money on the real estate up front, you're going to lose your ass on the back end because it's a failed location. And that's why one of the reasons Stu Sternberg pulled out. So I know we're kind of going all over the place, but we're trying to connect the dots. So as I see this, and again, I am 100% confident in the reporting that we've done. I'm not backtracking on any of it. Patrick Zalewski and this group of Tampa Bay investors is the preferred group by Major League Baseball and have been for the past 3 months. They are replete with some of the biggest names in Tampa Bay and some of the most trusted people who can get the job done in terms of a stadium. You heard Ken Hagan come on here on Friday and say that, and he's reiterated to that me that privately since then. 100% confident that with this group that they can get the votes and get the deal done with their deep pockets to get a deal done in Tampa. So I'm not backing off that. That is what we're reporting. Now, since then, I've had 3 people call me and say, Zalewski doesn't have the money. This group doesn't have the money. They're trying to raise money still. They don't have the money. I'm not going to say those are not reliable sources. They're great people, but they also have, they have an agenda. They are a part of other groups that want to buy this team. So whether Zalewski has the money or he does not in his group, I think they do have the money. I don't think Major League Baseball gets this far down the track with a letter of intent and they don't have the money. I would find that very odd. But Major League Baseball has done odd things before. So, and I still believe 100%, and this has been confirmed by multiple sources, that Major League Baseball is running this in terms of pressuring Stu to sell the team. As Topkin put in his article last week, when Stu spoke to the employees on a Zoom call announcing, confirming the letter of intent, he was very frustrated. And I believe the word he used was somber and frustrated. If you were selling a team for $1.7 billion and has made, over $2 billion in profits with the sale of this, would you be somber and frustrated? I wouldn't be. I'd be doing freaking cartwheels. But the reason he's somber and frustrated because I think Major League Baseball is controlling this and saying, look, we're not going to let you have this car auction for the team. We're not going to and go on ad infinitum on and push back expansion. We're getting this done now. We have a group. They're paying you $300 million more than this team is worth. It's a great deal for you. So there's no way Stu Sturberg could come back and sue Major League Baseball and say, they forced me to sell this for under what it. No, that's not happening. And that's part of the reason that they're getting money over the value. And plus teams usually sell over the values, although Forbes has gotten right, and I think the last couple right on the sale price, but typically before that, it's been about 15 to 20% more. And I'll confirm that with Kurt when we speak to him. So yeah, the sale price is more than it's worth. He's clearly made hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion in profit while he's owned this team and taking money out. That's obvious. So he's getting a great deal. And Major League Baseball knows that Stu can't get a deal done in St. Pete. He can't get a deal done in Hillsborough. Nobody will trust him. And he's not moving the team. And let's be clear on this. If it was up to Stu, he'd move the team and take the biggest check he could get. Absolutely. So thank you to Major League Baseball for keeping it here. Thank you to Ken Hagan for working his ass off to try to get this stadium done in Tampa. And thank you to the local Tampa Bay investors that are trying to get this team. Now, where this gets a little more complicated in the past 24 hours, since the letter of intent was announced, all these other groups are like, whoa, we've been told by Major League Baseball that we're the group and to be ready when the time comes. And what I think is happening here is Major League Baseball is stacking their groups. I think they're going to say, if this one fades out, we want to have somebody next in line to get ready to do this. And I also think long-term, Major League Baseball, well, I don't think, we know, Major League Baseball wants this stadium in Tampa. And I believe the Malloy Group is more interested in that real estate deal and saying, and they've said this publicly, we want to look at that deal in St. Pete. So Ken Welch is like, the mayor is like, hey, if we're getting a new owner, let's get this deal done again. And again, I think he's going to face public pressure to try to put that same deal together because it's horrible for the taxpayers. Everybody knows that now. It's been exposed. So that I think still is a huge challenge. And I think, the Times is they'll do the hit piece on Zalewski, and there'll be a lot of, and I think what's going to happen is the Tampa Bay part of this investor group is going to have to step up and say, hey, here we are. We're part of this too. From a public opinion standpoint, this is who we are. And let's be clear, if you made a lot of money in this world, especially in real estate and home building, you're going to have some enemies. That's not going to be hard to find some enemies. So, and Zalewski's also been a big part of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's been on the board of trustees of the University of Florida. He's great buddies with Ron DeSantis. And of course, we know what the Times thinks about DeSantis. anything that the Times can find on DeSantis is going to be front page news. So that whole connection there is going to be blown up. I'm predicting right now in the Times. There'll be a huge part of that. So, and where does public opinion come into this? To me, again, if you've made money in this world, you've made enemies. How bad is it? How bad is it going to look? We'll see. We'll see. And trust me, the Times will leave no stone unturned against it because they don't want that. They don't want that stadium in Tampa, and that's where Zalewski wants to build a stadium. So this is all part of it. To me, it's a fascinating story. So you gotta kind of try to figure out where this is headed. I still am very confident that this is the group that's going to get the job done. I'm very confident that they can get the stadium deal done in Tampa at this time. Now, how things change, investors pull out, or what happens, that's all part of it. That's all part of it. It's a moving target. It's a moving target. So, and I think but here's the best thing, if I could kind of wrap this up. The best thing is Stu Sternberg is not going to own this baseball team anymore. Stu Sternberg is no longer going to own the Rays, and that is a 100% certainty. Well, I shouldn't say that. You never know. A 99.9% certainty that Stu Sternberg is not going to own the Rays anymore. And we are not going to be going through this stadium ridiculousness for a long time. There's going to be a stadium built by 2029 by this group or another group. Could it be in St. Pete? I think it's a very, very small percentage that could happen because Major League Baseball does not want that. They understand a St. Pete stadium just is going to bring the same revenue sharing issues that they've always had. They want to stop writing checks to the 11th largest market in America. There's no reason this should be a revenue sharing market. The only reason it is because Stu Sternberg has run his business that way. Why should I go out and market a team and spend $40, $50, $60 million on marketing a team, hoping people will drive over the bridge when I can just take that revenue sharing money from Major League Baseball? Not a bad business move, but it's not fair to his Major League partners. And they figured that out. They're like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. If we put the team in Tampa, we don't need to give you money anymore. So the Major League Baseball owners and the commissioner are very, very desirous that this stadium be built in Tampa, and they feel like this is their opportunity. This is a great group of elite Tampa Bay businessmen, and Zalewski and the entire group have a lot of money. They have the political will, the political connections to get the job done, and that's what's important to Major League Baseball, most important to Major League Baseball. Now, there are powerful forces working against the Zalewski group. I can sense that right away. And I'll be honest with you. If any of these groups gets the team, I think it's going to be great for Tampa Bay. I do. Except I'm not quite sure about the Miller group. I just don't know enough about them. Trip Miller, the hedge fund manager, says he has a lot of money. I've heard, things, positive things and negative things about him. So again, the sourcing of where look at what the agenda is from the source that you're getting it. And I'll say that, whether it's the JP Peterson show or the Tampa Bay Times or wherever, you should always do that. Try to figure out, is there an agenda here? I don't have an agenda. My only agenda here has always been what's best for Tampa Bay baseball and what's best for the fans of Tampa Bay. And for me, that's a stadium in the middle of the market with the biggest chance for revenue growth, accessible to the most amount of fans. And that's in Tampa. As much as I love the city of St. Pete, it's a gorgeous city and it doesn't need baseball. It doesn't need baseball. And they know that. But there are a lot of other agendas that are out there. And these are the most powerful people, the richest people, and a baseball team that has been a bit of a enigma for quite some time in this area. And I'll continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. Tampa Bay is a tremendous baseball market. It is an unbelievable baseball market. The TV ratings have been fantastic and always will be fantastic. We grow up with baseball in our blood here. We play Little League. We play Palmacia Little League, Bayshore Little League, St. Pete Little League, Gulfport Little League, all over the 7-county area, Lakeland, all over. The amount of people that come from these programs and make it to the major leagues is staggering. Per capita, I would guess it's maybe the best region for producing ball players. Pete Alonso. I mean, we could go all the way down. I mean, so many. Kyle Tucker, Brady Singer. I mean, we could go on and on and on just from playing high school alone. You know, at Tampa Catholic and Jesuit, I mean, they've got the number 1 pick is probably going to be from Jesuit High School, Jamie Arnold. Baseball, we are baseball, man. We are baseball. And the only thing we have not been able to do is Major League Baseball the right way because we've had 2 shitty owners. Terrible. Sternberg gets a lot of credit for turning it into a winner on his terms, but has not been able to get a stadium done for long-term success. And that hurts the fan base. The fan base, how many of the fans can't wrap their arms around this team because of ownership? I would say it's 50 to 60%. Whenever we buy a ticket, we hold our nose. We all do. This guy, Stu Sternberg has never been a friend of Tampa Bay. He's held up development in Tampa, in St. Petersburg, and Major League expansion. He's about him. These guys that want to buy the team are about Tampa Bay in multiple groups. So any of these groups that I think have a chance to buy this team, the Malloy group, the Zalupski group, and there may be another group that has a little bit more Tampa Bay roots than I'm aware of, but I'm going to find out today. And I think especially the first 2 groups are going to kill it in Tampa Bay. Kill it. And it's not going to be Stu Sternberg. So if you're a Rays fan, this is all good. This is all good. But how it goes down is going to be very, very interesting. And listen, I'm not here to make enemies. I'm just here to share as much as I can share with you guys. And a lot of the information I've been given is in confidence. So I'm trying to, walk a very, very tight line here. And I don't want to piss anybody off. But I also want to give you guys a feeling for what's going on out there as best I can. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not saying I know exactly what's going to happen 100%, but I'm tied into a lot of people that are involved in the decision-making, and they're talking to me, and I am the conduit to talk to you, and I'm trying to give you the best feel that I have. And the best thing that I can say to you this morning is this is a very short timeline that Stu Sternberg will no longer own this team. And that's good for Major League Baseball, and it is fantastic for Tampa Bay and Rays fans. So there is a bright future ahead. None of this is doom and gloom, but what's going to go down in the back rooms and how this whole thing is in the mill time, and we're talking about billions of dollars of development and Major League Baseball. It's in superstars. I mean, this story has it all. Has it all. And I wish I could come on here every day and tell you everything that's up here and in here, but I can't.
JP, who's going to play you in the documentary? I think Brad Pitt's available. We just finished that F1 movie. I think he's got time.
Well, we're going to need a lot of makeup. I need a lot of men, a bodysuit.
Go.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a doc. I can tell you that. We're doing a doc. When all these people are free to talk from their NDAs and non-circumvents or whatever the hell these things are, it's going to be fun. And and like Hunter Tubbs says here, I mean, I feel bad because I didn't mention all the names. Alonso, Bichette, McCullers, Pearson, Tucker, all from Tampa Bay area. Yeah, it's a damn. And imagine if we had a group here that had a lot of money and could pour into this and get those players here, they'd all come back and play here. And they had a stadium they wanted to play in. I've told you many times, Kyle Tucker will never play in Tropicana Field. He won't play here, and I'm betting the other guys are the same way. Hurts their knees too much.
Bad for your career.
Yeah. All right, so load up the comments, guys, and if you have questions, we're going to get to them, but we're going to take a quick break. Kurt Badenhausen is on deck from Sportico. He broke the Zalewski letter of intent story. So we'll see what he knows, what he's been hearing. So we'll hear from him. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We are in the beautiful Jeeves Law Group studio, as a matter of fact. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Scott Jeeves, great dude. One of the great movers and shakers in this city, as we've been talking about a lot of these guys, and he will fight for you. So go to jeeveslawgroup.com, and if you're involved in an accident or have any legal questions, give him a call. And, of course, the great folks at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Onsite Construction is the name of the company. Jason Fawcett is the owner of this company. Great dude. We've had him in studio. Give him a call. Get a free consultation with him. He'll come up to your house, look at it, tell you about some of the things they can do in renovation, possibly adding on things probably you're not even thinking of that's available. And then you'll get in line and meet your contractor. So if something happens in a hurricane, you'll be a preferred customer right away, and you'll be one of the first to get your house done. OnsiteConstructionFL.com. Great program they got going on. Quick break. Back with Kurt Badenhausen from Sportico next.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by those great folks at Riveters. Head on over there before or after the Rays games. Enjoy a fantastic fresh meal, fresh cooked stuff. The burgers are fantastic. The wings are amazing. The happy hour is fantastic for us blue-collar people. $3 drafts, $5 wells. Yeah, that's the old days, right? Head on over to Riveters. Great staff, great food, great atmosphere, everything you want at a sports bar. Riveters, just north of 275, just south of the Stein and AJ. All right, much awaited interview as we bring in Kurt Badenhausen from Sportico, also worked for Forbes for many years. He is a sports business reporter. He is the man who broke the story on Patrick Zalewski being the lead investor and having a letter of intent to buy the Rays. Good morning to you, Kurt. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well, JP. How you doing today?
Does it look like my brain is spinning out of control?
I'll tell you.
Was my monologue okay? Did you follow any of that? Did I zigzag all over the place?
I've been listening to the show. You're plugged in. I don't think I have much to add. You are all over this.
Oh, don't tell the people. I got another hour and a half, bro. Come on. Don't tell the people that. We're putting on a show here. No, you have plenty to add.
I got plenty to add. I've been doing this for a long time,
yes.
30 years covering the business of sports and trying to put a value on sports teams. So I've seen this thing play out many times in baseball and across other sports leagues. And you never know until the check is cashed how these things are going to go. I
want to tap into your historic knowledge after we talk about Tampa specifically. Yeah. So tell the folks a little bit about your tie to Tampa. And by the way, congratulations having a son that pitches at UT, national champion.
No, he doesn't pitch there. No, he just goes to school there.
He just goes to school. I thought he was on the baseball team.
No. He was a big baseball guy.
Okay.
If he was playing baseball in college, it would have required staying close to home in New Jersey. But we walked on the campus of UTampa after going to a spring training game his junior year, I guess, in high school. And he's like, oh, this is a place for me. So great city. Really couldn't believe, I hadn't been there in years, and couldn't believe the development that had gone on. And obviously business has been super vibrant, and the buildup around Amelia Arena and just all these different areas that have really been transformed is incredible to see. So spent a lot of time in Tampa over the last 12 months.
We owe a lot to that to Jeffrey Vinnick, obviously having a sports connection with him. He's rebuilt the entire town, and kind of our Arthur Blank, what he's done here for the city of Tampa. So I'm guessing maybe through the context and the time you spent here, you got this story. Tell us a little bit how you got the story, the background.
Yeah, well, we can't reveal sources.
I know that part.
I can't. No, this is listen. This is what we do at Sportico. We figure out what's going on in all these places, and again, I've been covering the business of sports for 30 years, and I've built up some connections over the year. And my colleague and boss, Scott Soshnick, who I did the story with, was at Bloomberg for 25 years, and knows more people in the sports business industry than I would argue just about any other journalist on the planet. And so, we'd been talking to people, and listen, the Rays stories is something we've been thinking about for 10 years now. Whether we were doing our MLB team valuations and what teams like the Rays are worth, because it's a tricky team to figure out what they're worth, because they're worth one thing if they're playing in St. Pete or in a minor league baseball stadium. They're worth a much different number if there's a path towards a stadium, financing secured for a stadium. And so that's often how we're thinking about it. But listen, Stu has been down this road before. So there's a lot of people that have shown interest in the Rays. You have bankers, lawyers, investors. People have been talking about the Rays and poking around the Rays for a long time. So When you think about Major League Baseball teams and who's going to sell next, the Rays are at the top of the list. So it's one of those franchises that people talk about a lot. And so we got tipped off that something was a little further along than maybe some of the more recent deals that Stu had looked at. Did some digging, found a couple more sources, and discovered that this letter of intent had been signed last week. The Rays subsequently put out a statement and confirmed some of the reporting that we had in there in terms of LP investors like Bill Cosgrove, and that there was an LOI, which again, as I'm sure you've talked about over the last few days, is not a purchase agreement.
That's right.
Absolutely not. It has every LOI has an expiration date, but very easily can be extended with the stroke of a pen, and write a new date on that. You don't sign an LOI if you're not serious about negotiating with a party, with another party. And so, but again, there are obviously other interested bidders in this. Mm-hmm. My experience historically in sports team purchases is that the teams that are coming out, the groups that are coming out screaming the loudest, saying we're bidding this, we want this, they're usually not the bidders that end up with the franchise.
That's right.
That said, the Miller Group seems like a strong group. There are other groups out there. Malloy Group, has been public talking about wanting this franchise, and they seem to have substantial resources to do this. So one of them very well could end up with this team, particularly if things fall apart with the current negotiations with the Zalipsky Group. So, but it's wild times. But I think I think the takeaway here, and you brought this up earlier, is I think a deal is going to get done. Yeah. For the same, I'd be shocked if Stu Sternberg still owned this franchise in 6 months. You have three serious parties here. If one of them turns out to be not fully funded, undercapitalized, again, we see this a lot where bidders step up and they can't raise money. I mean, when you go back to the Celtics deal, so $6 billion, they didn't have all the money when they did the deal. Now, they were very confident that they could raise the money, and ultimately they raised the money and then some. People were clamoring once they found out that I could get in on the Celtics. Yeah. So, it's banging down the door. I went in on this. So it's not crazy that somebody's negotiating and doesn't necessarily have $1.7 billion in the bank or whatever the funding is. You can close that gap with debt and a lot of other ways. Again, you don't necessarily want to load up the Rays with a ton of debt because they've also got a stadium, which is also going to require some debt financing. But so Major League Baseball, they desperately want this. They want to strike this off their to-do list because it's been at the top along with the A's for a decade. And this deal needs to get done. The A's deal needs to get done. Yeah. Where they open, where they're in Las Vegas playing a game, because Major League Baseball wants to move on to expansion, and they can't do it until these two franchises are on firmer ground.
Great stuff there. And I guess my first query is, what do you know about the Zalipsky Group, Cosgrove, Ken Babby? What do you know about those guys? I guess those are the ones that were named in the story. Yeah. Do they seem solid enough that they can get this done? What are your thoughts?
I mean, again, those are the three people that we found in our reporting. They are the three names that Tampa Bay Rays named in their statement later in the day. My understanding is there are other investors as part of the group that we haven't figured out their names, and the Rays weren't ready to out anyone new that we hadn't already named as LPs waiting in the wings to help fund it. Yeah. But that is what we've been led to believe, that there are other investors there with cash to put into this deal. Again, we've had other people tell us, as other people have been banging the drum saying they don't have the money. This group doesn't have the money. People
I've
come
heard
at
that
these
too,
things. Everybody's got an agenda.
Right.
You know, it's hard. It's just hard to know for sure. Obviously, he's a billionaire. Forbes tags him as a billionaire, $1.4 billion. A lot of that is tied up in company stock, but there's ways you can use that to free up cash to put into it. But it's again, he's not someone that can write the whole check. So that's one of the Waltons comes in, is buying the Denver Broncos. You're like, okay, we're good. Like,
exactly.
The Adelsons want to buy the Dallas Mavericks. We're good. They just write the check. There's none of this. But this is how sports deals are done in a lot of ways these days. I mean, Josh Harris is a super rich guy.
Yeah.
But Josh Harris can't buy the Washington Commanders by himself. So he raised a ton of money. He got a lot of people come in, and Josh Harris owned 30% of the team.
Yeah, and that's what this is going to be. This will be. In Major League Baseball, I think they want 30%, right? The lead dog to have 30% of the money and write the big check.
Ideally, I mean, the NFL requires 30%. Major League Baseball, NBA are both don't require that big a stake for the general partner. But
do they have a requirement? Do they have a percentage requirement?
Oh gosh, I knew you were going to ask me that.
I think Stu did 25%. I think he had 50 million of the 200.
Yeah, originally. That sounds about. It's
yeah.
I have it written down somewhere. It's something like 20%. NBA, I can tell you, is only 15.
Wow.
So and that's basically what Ginny Buss is going to do with the Lakers. I mean, she's going to have her 15% for a little while so that she can maintain her role as the general partner of the club for a couple of years. And then eventually, the Walter Group will take over that. You pay $10 billion, so you kind of want to, as what Bill Parcells said, if you're going to cook the dinner, you want to shop for the groceries too, or vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. In your talking with Kurt Badenhausen at KBADENHAUSEN, Badenhausen on Twitter. Great follow. Make sure you follow him. So in typical, you've seen a lot of these deals go down. At least the recent sale of the Orioles, this is the most recent baseball team. I know the Twins are for sale. They have a lot of debt, so that's kind of holding that up. Typically, the first letter of intent, does that go through? Or what has been your experience? And maybe all different sports teams that you've seen sold. Does that first letter of intent usually go through, or is it just?
I think once you reach, again, I hate to equate the Rays to other situations because the Orioles was a very clean process. There's discussions that go on, and again, Stu Sternberg's history. I hate to equate this deal like, oh, this is what typically happens in a deal, so this is what's going to happen in Tampa. But I think, again, letter of intent is a first step, and then traditionally, I would say, you move on to a purchase agreement, and everybody, the lawyers strike, red pen everything, and you do a deal, and then you wire the money. I mean, so that's the traditional path how these things go down. What Major League Baseball is fascinating right now because you brought up the Orioles. Mm-hmm. That's the only team sale since 2020 when Steve Cohen bought the Mets.
Yeah, I guess that.
Right. So that's 5 years. One team has been sold. You had the Nationals go on the market, got pulled off. California, excuse me, I'm dating myself. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim went on the market, got pulled off. The Twins went on the market last year. And again, I think are making progress towards a deal, but it didn't quite come as quick as maybe anticipated. We're in month 9, I think, of that deal. So baseball has great value. The investors see great value in baseball right now, but there's a couple speed bumps that are ahead. CBA is a problem.
Absolutely.
Potential lockout. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of tough talk, which again, there's always tough talk on CBAs this far in advance. But this seems a little tougher than usual. You've got definitely a group of hardline owners that are like, we want a lockout. We want salary cap, and players, it's the third rail for them. They don't want it. they don't want lockout. They don't want salary cap. So you can see a lockout there. And then the broadcast agreements, big market, small market, Bally Sports, now Main Street. They've given up deals. Teams have been forced to take haircuts on their local deals. Deals have been shortened. It's only created more disparity when you think about the local media side between behemoths, Yankees, Dodgers. Now, revenue sharing does make up a lot of that because as your revenues shrink, you get a bigger check from the league. So, but some of the big market clubs are like, this is crazy. I mean, the Dodgers wrote $150 million check last year in revenue sharing.
A lot of that went to the Rays.
And a lot of it went to the Rays. Yeah, the Rays.
You know how much revenue sharing
I've been
is
told
now?
I've been told 60-ish million.
And then what's the central fund?
Maybe up a little bit.
How much does each team get in central fund?
Well, the central fund, depending how you want to calculate it. So we typically look at gross revenue when we think about the central fund.
Right.
So from the central fund, you're talking about $100 million roughly
to each team,
going to each team. Now, there are expenses that lop money out of that deal. You have to pay for the league office to run. You have to pay for umpires. Major League Baseball pays for benefits. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of expense items that MLB is taking care of that the teams don't have to do. So no teams are not getting $100 million check from the central fund. They get basically the net amount after all those league expenses are covered. So we've traditionally thought about it and the revenues that we publish when we do our valuations. We look at gross revenue, just for one, to make it kind of apples to apples with the different sports leagues, because every sports league treats it differently. Some leagues cover certain one amount, some of those expenses, others teams have to write a check, and so that's how we've traditionally looked at it. And
for the Rays, you guys have had them, I think Forbes has had them at 1.3. Sportico, I think, has them at what, 1.45?
I think we had them at 1.35. I think Forbes was 1.25. Okay. Down at the bottom. But the Rays are a tricky one to value, as we talked about before. Yeah. We value them what they're worth in their current situation. If someone's to buy it and has a stadium plan lined up, they're worth a lot more than 1.35. I mean, Tampa's Tampa's a great market, and a lot of opportunity. And that's why so many people have been looking at the Rays over the years and have been talking to Sternberg, because there is that potential there. But building stadiums is hard. I don't care if you're Tampa, big city, small city, medium-sized city.
I don't know. They seem to get it done in Texas really easy, and other places. They seem to get it done. This saga that we've been under, I think I've been saying it for many, many years. It's not Tampa, it's not St. Pete, it's Stu Sternberg. And everybody now has finally come around to realizing that, including Major League Baseball. And this will be my last question for you. Do you get a sense MLB is driving this and not Stu Sternberg? Because that's what I've been told. If it were left up for Stu, I think, as you said, this would go on forever. But I think they've had enough. And it's like, you can't get a deal done here. And Manfred's basically said this publicly. He's threatened their revenue sharing, which I think is unprecedented. I've never seen the Major League Baseball do that to an owner.
Well, they did to their A's base. Well, I mean, maybe not threatens the wrong word, but I mean, this is what he's done with the Rays is a different level, I should say, than what happened with the A's.
So he's made it, and people, you can weigh in on this. Another false narrative that's been promoted here forever is that Stu doesn't have any money and he's broke and he's lost all the money on this team. And I'm like, no, these revenues are well over $300 million a year. His payrolls have been consistently around 70. Yes, there are a lot of expenses. He doesn't spend a lot on marketing. He has no stadium cost whatsoever. He's been making a lot of money for a very long time. And so, and he's going to make an even bigger chunk when he sells this team. So,
well, that's the irony of where Major League Baseball is right now.
Yeah.
The teams at the bottom of the financial table, our least valuable teams when we do our valuations, they are the most profitable.
Yeah.
You have teams like the Phillies, losing a lot of money. Mets are losing an insane amount of money.
The owner doesn't care, though.
Yeah, the owner doesn't care. They made I think $1.8 billion in his hedge fund last year. So it's but again, teams at the bottom, because of revenue sharing check, because they're keeping payrolls relatively low, are very profitable. So Phillies, Giants, Mets, all among the most valuable franchises, they're all losing money. Mm-hmm. So it's a really interesting time for Major League Baseball, where we are right now.
Well, Kurt, I know you got lots of other fun stuff to do. So thank you very much for your time. Let's stay in touch. We'll work this story, and it's going to be fun. Maybe you can help me co-author the documentary.
I love it. I like the Brad Pitt suggestion too. He's your doppelganger,
is always
JP.
a positive.
That's a good one.
Check is in the mail. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Guys. All right. Make sure you follow Kurt on Twitter at Kurt Badenhausen. So, all right, Timmy, what do you think? Well,
I knew Brad Pitt was a good fit for that. See, we're already getting approval on the Brad Pitt thing. See,
wow, people are really nice out there. Oh, I got a hacksaw Jim Duggan too. Are we gonna put up side by sides?
I mean, I can show you.
No.
I'm thinking Danny DeVito plays you. I mean, I thought that might be a better for comic relief.
Like Mike Subs, I'll say that.
We do.
So yeah,
very eye opening. Very eye opening.
We've been talking a lot here. You have not. So, what's your thoughts on what you've seen so far?
Well, it's very encouraging. For one, I think encouraging is the number one word I take from your monologue and from talking to Kurt. And it's just, again, hesitation here, because it's not a done deal. None of these deals are done, and I don't even know. Would you use the word imminent? Like, I don't even know that imminent is a word I would use for this, but certainly encouraging and promising that things are moving in the right direction. And then we're going to have to, once the ownership thing is handled, and I'm sure the stadium discussions are part of the ownership discussions. They're going hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Clearly, because each ownership group is going to have his or their, choice of where they want it to be and what they're going to pursue with it. And keep in mind, that doesn't mean that that's exactly what will happen after a deal is signed. All of that could change based on what happens with the city and the county and all of that stuff, or the site choice or whatever. But I just think things are moving in the right direction. And I do see things, even though I won't use the word a sale being imminent, I will say that things are moving rapidly. And whether it's this deal or a different one that ends up happening, I think that because of the letter of intent, that has pushed everything forward quicker. And like you said, these other groups are like, hey, what about us? We thought we were in on it. Well, Major League Baseball is going to push the group that they think is best for the city, for the franchise, and to promote Major League Baseball in Tampa. So that's clearly what they've gone with this one. If something falls through, they have things to fall back on, and then those groups would be happy to be the fallback option. There's no doubt. So it's exciting moving forward. I think that Rays fans now, it's awesome that this is all happening on the ownership front while the team is performing so well on the field right now. I think that those things going hand in hand is amazing for the fans, because now you're kind of seeing we got a lot more years of this if we can get a new owner. And now that's progressing forward, it's an exciting time. I'm still baffled by the whole situation with the Trop, and that they're, are they going to fix it? Or are they not? And the problem with that is I think a lot of that depends on the new ownership group, and you can't really decide that until you get a new owner, so I don't know. Is that going to hold up a sell being on the horizon? Is that going to hold up repairs to the Trop? Well, I hope so. I hope they don't do anything to it. Right.
And then there's the whole part of, Ken Welch being the mayor of St. Pete. He wants that long-term deal still in St. Petersburg, which I'd say, Mayor, look at your constituents don't want it.
Yeah.
It's clear.
But you know what the deal is with a mayor in St. Pete right now? Doesn't matter who it is, Ken or anybody else. You don't want to be the guy that lost the Rays to Tampa. Well, on your political record, like to me, that's what that is.
And I think that's short-sighted. And I think you would agree with that, obviously. But it's an ego thing.
Yep,
You don't want to be
100%.
known. I don't know. I'd rather be known as the guy that transformed the city of St. Pete into an incredible modern day city where we had this great opportunity instead of going down the usual stupid train of giving billions of dollars to billionaires and putting up a stadium because of our quote ego. We were smart and we redid this part that it benefits the city and the fans, the city and your constituents the most in a time when you're in no position. They got 7 inspectors over there and about 75,000 permits, and they say we can't hire more inspectors, but yet, the people that want to rebuild, that can't rebuild their homes from the hurricane.
Right. You
can't hire more inspectors. You can't afford to hire more inspectors to get that done. But you're going to give $1 billion to a billionaire or whoever's next. I mean, that's hard for people to swallow. That's really hard for people to swallow. So if I were Ken Welch and I wanted to have a political career, I would start looking inward towards the people of St. Petersburg and not towards whoever's going to own the Rays. Because that's not your ticket to I still think he has a chance to recover and do something great with that piece of property. But if he's intent on building a baseball stadium and giving away $1 billion in public money to welfare to a billionaire, whoever that billionaire is, I don't think that's a very good political choice, but that's just me.
And by the way, you brought up the whole stunt of the A's renting the construction equipment.
Is that true? I didn't confirm it.
It is. It has been confirmed by the A's PR department that they rented that construction equipment to stand back there. None of that will be used in anything. It was all for the photo op.
Well, does that begs the question? Does he really have the money to build a stadium, or are they clearing this for another hotel?
I mean, I heard they were supposed to break ground earlier this week, and they haven't done that yet. And that's what the construction equipment was there for, and they weren't able to break ground. So I don't know.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah, things are going nuts over in
that's such a Sternberg thing to do.
Right?
There.
Isn't that funny?
It's hilarious. All right, to the comments. Let's do a few here before the break. Mike H says Chandler Simpson increases the fun factor. Yes, how about that? It is entertainment in the end of the day, is it not? I think it makes you a better baseball team too. Let's see what else we have here. Daniel Rivera, good morning to you. Said, I believe one announcement doesn't happen without the other happening. This will be twofold. Purchase announcement, Zalewski buys the Rays, and framework for stadium site done. I believe that's true. I don't think if it's not a concrete stadium situation, it's well on the way.
Right.
So now I'll say this. I think the purchase agreement is done first. And then I think they outline what their vision is for the stadium, because that has to go through a whole political process before it's actually done. And you can't do that. You can't do the political process until you know who you're dealing with and get a deal done. So I think what they'll announce is, okay, hey, we're buying the team. Now, our plan is to build here in Tampa, or these are the 3 sites that we're looking at, and we're going to try to figure out the deal. I think they'll probably have already identified a site myself, but I think it is going to be kind of a twofold process. I think they're going to say I don't think they're going to say, all right, we're going to look at St. Pete and Tampa and we bought the Rays. I don't think that's going to be part of it. Could be, but I think it's going to be, we're buying it and this is where we're building. That's where Major League Baseball wants the stadium. And that's, the only reason, I mean, there's one other reason, but I'm not going to get into it.
Oh, God.
That it should be in St. Pete. We're not going to get into that until I can confirm. B says, Daniel, it will be a framework of a framework of a framework, which means 2050. As much as I'd rather to discredit you, history says, hey, no. See, when Stu is removed, it's not going to be that impediment. I've said this forever. It's not our fault. It's his fault.
Right. We
can build stadiums. We're building an on-campus stadium at USF. Ground has been broken. Darryl Shaw is going to build a soccer stadium if he can't get baseball on those grounds. So we can build stadiums. We just can't, Stu Sternberg can't build stadiums. We built Ray J, one of the greatest profit centers for $200 million. And we've had, 3 Super Bowls? Pretty good deal. And we kept our NFL team. I'd say that's pretty good ROI.
Daniel Rivera says there are 3 stadium site finalists, in my opinion. Ybor may be revisiting the 2018 site that Stu walked away from. Fairgrounds, which in my opinion is the favorite due to Zalewski ties to the governor, and the Sombrero footprint. I'm less and less inclined to say the Sombrero footprint, but I think Ybor. I think Ybor is the leader. What else we got here? Daniel says those other groups are just noise, as Kurt kind of echoed as well. B says probably Mons Venus. JP, is that the new
or your
location?
meeting? Yeah, your meeting location.
Oh, my meeting location.
Yeah.
No, it's not done yet. We're refurbishing. Daniel Rivera says, of course they are. That's what the Times does. Hit pieces. Yep. It's coming. It's coming. And I know they watch the show. So it's going to be Zalewski, Dreamfinders Homes, best friend of Ron DeSantis. Here's a lot of really unhappy homeowners. So that's coming.
I might have to go hunt out that Facebook group now and go peruse some of the stories.
Yeah, it ain't pretty.
I feel like that's true of just about any home builder anywhere.
Yeah, you go look at the reviews of any home builder; they're not great. It's a very complicated process, but let's leave it at that. Lavla just said that he will keep his promise to Manfred and vote for St. Pete deal with the new owner. He did say that on the show. But I don't think it's the deal that was laid out, because he's also said that deal is unworkable.
Yeah.
Thomas Casper says Bull Gators who gave $250K to DeSantis are a grand slam. Well, I guess we could look those up.
I mean, it's got to be public record, right?
David Sampson said very concerned Patrick doesn't have the dough. Yes, I've heard that. David Sampson is good friends with Stu Sternberg too. I love David. But I know a lot of this misinformation, and I'm not saying that's misinformation. I don't know. But a lot of stuff that's coming out about other groups, I think, is being pushed by Stu Sternberg because he doesn't like being pushed by Major League Baseball.
But we also know Major League Baseball doesn't mess around, especially with the Rays at this point of where things are. And they're not going to vet a group that doesn't have the money and go this far as to accept a letter of intent, right? Major League Baseball wouldn't do that unless they knew the funds were there from somewhere.
I agree. And knowing the names that I know that we can't say, they got money. They got plenty of money or access to it. Access to the richest people on earth. Trust me on that.
Yeah.
Richard Bolt says, name a home developer that doesn't have horror stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lennar, Dreamfinders. I mean, Adam. Yeah. A lot of them.
All of them.
A lot of the comments is out of context. I'll double back with him on that and see, because I know he railed against that deal for many, many years, or many meetings. Rays are underdogs tonight. Free money, says Hunter Tubbs. Let's check on that. Yeah, Casper says Sampson's not looking at the entire group. I agree. Pat Zalewski's, I hate to say it, $1.4 billion. Like Kurt said, in the scheme of owners, that's not a lot of money. But the group that they have put together is a lot of money. It has a lot of ties to Tampa Bay, right, which political ties to Tampa Bay and the state, which helps get the stadium done. And this is what I keep saying. You got to understand, it's not a car auction. And it's not to benefit Stu Sternberg wholly, to just get him the most money. What Major League Baseball says, look, we'll get you a fair price, but we want a group that's going to get the damn stadium done, because we're really tired of that. We're really tired. We need the stadium done so we can do expansion, and we can get all that $5 billion in expansion fees. So that's what and so look, Stu, here's $300 million over value, $400 million over value. It's a group that's locally tied in that we get the deal done. And that's what I expect to happen. But we'll see. There's going to be a lot of hit pieces, stuff I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming, because Stu wants to prolong this and get as much money as he possibly can. And I'm pretty sure that he has some sway over some of the media agencies. It could be wrong.
The Rays are plus 117 tonight against the Royals on the road.
What? Who's pitching?
See, now you're gonna make me go to a different site.
I'm gonna make you go work. Yeah. What do you got, Danny? Taj Bradley's pitching. Oh, placed in who's up for Royals? Ubik. Okay. I don't know much about him, but if Taj is on the mound.
Yeah, Taj and Bubik.
Bring up Joe Boyle.
Bubik is 6-4 with a 2.12 ERA with 88 strikeouts on the season.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He'd be good. Daniel Rivera, the one thing that that's doing the deal is one that is quiet, not making the noise. That is correct. Thomas Casper says Times is trying to save its retirees' employees' pension fund and benefits by Rays in St. Pete, which is ridiculous. Well, that's an interesting. Keeping the Rays will help that?
Like, how would that affect that?
Explain to simple people.
Yeah, I don't understand.
We'll still own them in 3 months, B says. Kurt said 6. They're not going to announce it until the end of the season.
Yeah.
3 months. What is that? July, August, September, end of season. Yeah. I'd say 3-4 months. Yeah. After the World Series, is that?
I would say there's an announcement by November 1st.
William Madden says DAE wants the stadium in St. Pete. Yeah, I've always felt that way.
I don't get that. Are they based?
Well, because Stu wanted it in St. Pete, and whatever Stu wants, they're going to kowtow to.
Are they in Tampa or St. Pete? Where's the studio?
Right now, they moved it over to St. Pete, Clearwater area.
There you go.
But I mean, most of the people live in Hillsborough, though, that work there. So but I think it's all because of Stu. Ray Station. Whatever Stu wants is what they're going to promote.
Isn't that kind of a drive?
It is.
From Hillsborough County to Clearwater?
Yeah, but they like their jobs. Keep their jobs. Jeremy said Stu could be putting dirt out on his own potential buyers just to sabotage deals. I think you might be onto something there, Jeremy. I think you might be onto something. I like that. That was good. When Thomas Casper says, when will St. Pete NAACP whip out the historic gas plant attack for non-existent promises? Been waiting for that, Thomas. Can we queue up all the great things that were said about the gas plant and what was going to happen there by Stu Sternberg and the Rays that they reneged on? Somebody at a television station, can we get those comments? So we used to call rack that. Let's re-rack those comments. I'd like to see that, how that would play out. Scott Razik says prosecutors are pushing for a 5-year sentence for Wander Franco. Vegas broke ground yesterday for the new stadium for the Athletics. Did they break ground? Did they actually break the ground?
Not unless it was just a shovel in the dirt, because they didn't use any of that machinery. We know that.
Yeah.
He wanted to get his deposit back on the rentals.
DNA says, good morning, JP, the best sports insider, Tampa Bay by 1,000,000 miles. Oh, wow. Also went and saw the Tigers and Rays on Saturday at Steinbrenner Field. Now I have an idea of what it feels like to be cremated. Danny, I saw your dad's Facebook, intern Danny's dad Facebook said he loves the Trop now because he had to go to a day game at Steinbrenner Field. Can we stop having day games there? Can we stop having, why are we scheduling day games at Steinbrenner?
It was a getaway game, right?
No, not this weekend. They had two 12-15s in a row against the Tigers.
On Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah. Prime roasting time.
That is questionable, yeah.
Very questionable. I don't get that. I don't get that. It has to be a reason. Douglas Batista. Good morning to you, Doug. Been in private equity business for 15 years. This sounds similar to PE company sales. They're always a lead horse, but seller keeps others buyers to the end, drives up the money and backup just in case. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is standard operating procedure, basically. But it's so much more fun. Yes, we are meandering. It's so much more fun, though, when it's just like this. If you're writing a screenplay, this is what you would have all these elements. Might need a murder or two, though. That could be coming. I joke. Or do I don't know. No, we're not doing that. I don't think. Daniel Vera says, tragic news this weekend. Chandler Jones was killed as he was struck by a driver on SUV early Saturday morning. Yeah, that is just awful. Awful.
That's the wide receiver Chandler Jones, right? Not the defensive end Chandler Jones.
I don't know.
Receiver. Yeah.
Thomas Casper says the mayor thinks baseball broke promises to St. Pete, which is totally false. Well, I mean, they did break promises. Did they not? The whole damn deal was a promise. They signed the deal and then they broke it. Yeah, it is the wide receiver Chandler Jones.
Okay.
What else we got here? Sutler says, funny how Krasnicki is on vacation this week. No whining in WDAE. Oh, I know. I haven't heard any shots across my bow lately. He's on vacation, huh?
He hadn't been very active on the X machine either. So I've been watching.
Really?
Yeah.
They're taking no shots? No shots taken?
I've been trying to troll him a little bit. I keep waiting for him to go to my profile to see who I am, and it says the JP Peterson Show on there. I keep waiting for something from him.
Jeff Stutler says Ebor's site is best option, in my opinion. Wish Channelside Waterfront Park was option. Would be great to have park like San Francisco has. Plus, Emily there would be sweet. That is it. No, that's still in play. Hagan said that on the show on Friday that, Daryl Shaw said that if baseball came knocking, that he would try to get that deal done right there. To Thomas Casper's point, that site may need a lot of work to get ready for a baseball team. Yeah. There's a lot of industry that gas and oil businesses. I know when you have those tanks sitting on those parcels to delouse that takes a lot of time.
A lot of remediation
money
involved with that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good word. Remediation. Delouse is a really good word too. I like that.
I like that better.
Delouse that site.
I like that better.
All right. So that's that. We're going to talk about, you want to talk about some other fun stuff? Chandler Simpson coming up.
Yeah.
Possible lineups for the Rays moving forward. Hassan Kim coming back. All kinds of cool stuff going on with that. All right.
I saw an interesting post on X earlier while you were on with Kurt that it would be fun to discuss here in the second hour as well. The most disappointing sports personality ever to come out of Tampa Bay.
Disappointing. It's an interesting word.
Think about it during the break, and everybody chime in too from the peanut gallery.
The most disappointing. Oh, so in the Wander Franco,
like a player, yeah. Is Wander Franco the most disappointing
leader in the clubhouse? Probably. Yeah. Okay, no,
I got it because I got another one for you.
I'm trying. My head's going around now. Jonathan Drouin comes to mind. Yeah. Okay. Most disappointing Tampa Bay. I just came up with one. Big time. Now, could they have left here and gone and done great things? So we're disappointed, or just
whatever your definition is.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll do that. All right, we're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get that insurance checkup, folks. Make sure you have flood insurance. Got a 30-day waiting period on that, any home insurance. So make sure you get it now before things get really active in the hurricane season. And also make sure you have enough insurance. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He got about half of what he was hoping for because he wasn't fully insured. So you got to make sure you're doing that as well. So Italiano will have all that for you. They'll go over everything for you so you are prepared. They'll get you with a company that pays, not with one of these companies that doesn't like to pay, that likes to fight you. So all that is very, very important. You'll get that information from Italiano Insurance. They do all the work. You get all the benefits. 813-877-7799. Back at 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's
personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Celebrate summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Yes, summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them the perfect thing for any summer occasion. Celebrate the milestone of a 30th anniversary with the timeless beauty of pearl, the traditional stone for this very special occasion. Right now, enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. You can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with zero interest over 5 years. Shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones that include pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone. The perfect opportunity to add a touch of summer sparkle to your collection. As always, make the summer unforgettable and visit the Gold and Diamond Source today, the only place to get that unforgettable engagement ring. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you. 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. Your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both in home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're going to get engaged, there's no better place to go. They have the best selection. They have the best prices. They have the best real diamonds. Do not get a fake diamond. That is not cool. You do not want to start your relationship with a fake diamond, boys. Do not make that mistake.
Don't be like me.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Do as he said. Do as I say, not as he did. Listen up, kids. He's living proof of what not to do.
It's so bad.
It's the Golden Diamond Source. Great folks over there. They will not try to force you into something that you can't enforce. 0%
financing for 5 years, so you can get a $5,000 diamond for just $83 a month. So great folks over there, great selection, great everything. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, and always online at goldendiamond.com.
JP, I had an incredible conversation with one of my broadcast heroes on Friday.
Really? Who's that?
So, I went to Thursday and Friday. I went to the KPMG Women's PGA.
Yes, you went to Stock the Lady Golfers. Yes,
just across the street over here.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't know if you watched any of that on TV. They were having 30, 40 mile an hour wind gusts.
I did see a little bit
during the tournament.
I saw some cops there that I thought was for the restraining order. Was that part of it?
Wasn't part of it.
Okay.
I'm literally a stone's throw from that golf course, and I didn't get any wind at my house. It is insane how much going across the highway, the weather changes on the golf course. It's a wide open.
Speaking of weather phenomenons, did you see what happened in Lake Tahoe this weekend?
Yeah.
What the F was that?
That's weird Lake Tahoe stuff right there.
They had like a 10-foot waves, crashed all these boats into houses.
Yeah. Roadway.
Like hailstorm and snowstorm, like hurricane force wind. Yeah. And they said it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like it didn't form someplace and it just like popped up.
It's aliens.
Like somebody was like, this was not weather, it was an attack. I'm like, what kind of attack was this? Like, anyway.
So I made my way over to the Golf Channel tent, of course, as I have to do, right?
Right.
Because I don't know if you noticed or you watched any of the coverage, but the great Grant Boone was on the call from the tent.
Oh, Grant Boone.
With his old broadcast partner from the Golf Channel from years ago, who's now retired, Judy Rankin. As Judy Rankin came out.
Judy Rankin?
Yes, the PGA called Grant and said, hey, would you mind coming on and doing coverage for us? He says, I will come on one condition, that Judy comes with me. So they all reached out to Judy to come out of retirement, and sure enough, she did. So I sat there and I had a really good conversation with Grant and Judy there in the broadcast tent on the set, and found something out about Grant. I've followed Grant, college basketball, everything he's ever done. I'm a huge fan of Grant. I've followed him for years. His last name, Boone, Grant Boone. Did you know that he is the nephew of Pat Boone?
I did not know that. No, I did not know that.
The entertainer
I
Pat
thought you were gonna
Boone.
say Daniel Boone, but
that is his. I don't know if we know anybody connected to him, but anyway,
had a coonskin hat.
Dude, he is the nephew of Pat Boone. Like, I had no idea. I was like, holy crap!
Wow, I did not know that. Can he sing?
I don't know. I didn't ask. He does have
He does, yeah, with those pipes.
Yeah, with those pipes, man. I bet he could. He's got a very soothing voice, but it was kind of cool to get to talk to him finally, and I beat him to death with golf talk, of course, as I often do, and he was more than happy to oblige. And
sometimes they say you don't want to meet your heroes, but in this case, it was good.
Judy was a sweetheart.
I can only imagine.
Drinking her wine on the set.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, she strikes me that. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all, man.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
She's retired. She may have been broadcasting this week, but she was retired, so she didn't care.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
It was cool, man. It was quite a good time out there.
Who won?
Johnny's future ex-wife, Minji Lee.
She
ends
won?
up taking it. Yeah.
You say hi to Nelly for me.
I waved at her a couple of times, and she just kind of gave me the Heisman every time.
And that's when the cops came. Okay,
yeah, that's when the cops were observing. I wasn't allowed to get too close to Nelly.
Gotcha. So this in the break, I'm like, this is the most disappointing athlete. I'm like, oh, let's just go to the history of Tampa Bay Bucs drafts.
Okay.
And this is where the Bucs got their reputation. In back-to-back years, they drafted Bo Jackson in 1985 with the first overall pick. After the owner screwed him over, made him ineligible in college by flying him to Tampa and then screwing him over, and he still picked him. And he said, "Yeah, I'm never playing for you."
Right.
Oh, Bo Jackson, the disappointment in like, oh my God, we could have had Bo Jackson. Yeah, no, we couldn't.
Okay. Disappointing scenario for sure. Yeah.
And the next year, we draft the number 1 overall pick, Vinny Testaverde, who, by the way,
can't be a disappointment though, right?
As a Buccaneers quarterback, he was, but that was more about the team around him than it was Vinny Testaverde, and the fact that he was colorblind, which is interesting.
Right.
Yeah. So in what he from 87 to 2007, I think that was his whole career. Though I wasn't all with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's his entire career. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very. Yeah, he was a disappointment in Tampa Bay.
76
still lives here. Great dude.
76 games played over 6 years in Tampa. 24, 48 and 0 was his record.
Oof.
77 touchdowns, 112 interceptions.
That touchdown to interception ratio is not. He was colorblind.
That's not great.
As it were.
You know what we call him?
Here's the other thing. He had to wear the creamsicles his whole career. He had no chance. You cannot play football in creamsicle uniforms. They look great, but you cannot play football.
He had a year swim through Dallas in 2004. Started 15 of 16 games, went 5-10. That was one of Dave Campo's 5-10 years.
Okay.
We called him Vinny Inceptaverdi, Interception Verdi. Interceptaverdi.
I hate talking to him bad about it. He's the nicest guy.
I love Vinny, man.
He's just the most wonderful man. He lives here, plays a lot of golf. He's a stick, man. He is a stick.
21 years in the league. I mean,
yeah. You remember when I forget the year. He literally came off the couch, like off the freaking couch for the Jets to beat us one year. Was the week before was sitting there eating bonbons, and the Jets called him in 2 days of practice, and he came out and just had this huge third down throw to beat the Bucs. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that was just salt in the wound. Salt in the wind. And as I recall, it was one of those years where the Bucs had a chance to make the playoffs, and that one hurt.
How about his outlier year of 1998 with the Jets, his first year with the Jets? He started 13 of 14 games that he appeared in. I don't know who the other quarterback was in 98 there for the Jets, but Testaverde goes 12-1 as a starter and makes his second of just 2 Pro Bowl appearances in his entire career.
Yeah.
First team All-Pro.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he had some good years later. Yeah, later on, he had some really good years.
Yeah, went 10-6 with the Jets in 01, but everything else is just.
So the Bucs, Trent Dilfer, they took 6th overall. Eric Curry, 6th overall. Broderick Thomas, 6th overall. Gaines Adams, they took 4th overall. He was just
okay.
Awful.
So based on your criteria, then I was going to throw mine out, and it's along the same lines. It's just a lot more recent.
All right, what do you got?
How about Jameis Winston as the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, J-Boo. Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a huge disappointment, right?
Yeah, that's a huge disappointment. I mean, especially if you're a Florida State guy and a Jameis guy like I was, this huge disappointment. But the thing about Jameis, he was so good and so bad at the same time. He could throw for 404 picks. I mean, he could move the ball down the field, great throws, make some of the most incredible plays. I used to call him Fred Sanford because he ran like Fred Sanford. He was running around like he's Fred Sanford, and he would just stop but he's the most awkward dude. And then he just throw it down. He'd either be a pick or just some unbelievable play. Somebody was always happy cheering when Jameis was playing, either one team or the other. Always. Yeah. Josh Hamilton. Josh Hamilton was a first overall pick by the Rays, and he was on his way to the show. Had a back injury, got hooked on opiates.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was here in Texas, obviously.
Went down the tubes. And then double disappointment. The Rays brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent a media out there, went out to this thing like, oh, Josh is back. We take him out. He's taking batting practice. He's hitting balls at the Namoli complex over the top of this 40-foot wall in center field, 410. And it's just like he did in the home run derby. Just unlike anything I've ever seen. Crack of the bat, just like the natural. And you're like, holy crap, this guy's back. And he goes and destroys single A, and the Rays leave him unprotected. They leave him unprotected on a 40-man.
Yep.
And the Rangers swoop in.
Boy, did he ever work out well for us.
Holy shizbang. What, 2 MVPs? Home run derbies? And I forget, Danny, look this up. Who did the Rays famously keep on the 40-man roster instead of Josh Hamilton? You can Google that. The name is it's infamous now.
I mean, we had our own disappointment.
That was a Chuck Lamar special. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Why'd you leave him protect? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. That a bad idea? No, sir. Yeah, instead of Josh Hamilton, they kept somebody on a 40-man roster back in 90-something, or no, 2003 or 4, something like that. Anyway, but one of you guys out there might know.
That's insane.
Yeah, so he was a huge disappointment here. Vernon Hargraves was a local kid, 7th overall pick, was terrible. Most recently, Jonathan Drouin, although we turned him into Mikhail Sergachev, I believe, or Chernak, one of those two. So we brought him back. That was a Stevie Y special. Didn't get, he was just kind of a crybaby and entitled. Didn't want to go down to the minors like when everybody else did, and so we just had to bring him back, kind of rehab his image, and then traded him. But he was a disappointment. Who else you guys got out there?
Hey, just as a reminder of how great Josh Hamilton was in Texas, in 2010, his MVPs, one of his MVP seasons, his third year here, his WAR was 8.7.
Oh, Jesus. What do you had? 56 bombs, 149 RBIs or something?
Good Lord. That year he was, so in 08, he had 32 home runs, 130 RBIs.
Yeah.
Led the league. That year in 2010, he hit 32 bombs, 100 RBIs. He also batted .359, had an OBP on-base percentage of .411. His slugging was .633, and his OPS was 1.044.
Oh.
Jesus.
Holy shit. Yeah, the great John Switzer. He was a pitcher, right? Mitch Talbot, John Switzer.
Oh, man.
That's who we protected instead of Josh
Hamilton.
Oh, my God. That was.
Cincinnati gave up on him, too, because he was on the Cincinnati roster in 2007.
Oh, Cincinnati came and got him first.
Yeah.
And then they gave up on him, or did they trade him? They just gave up
on him, and the Rangers came in and signed him.
Roar Right Rudder said, Roberto Aguayo. Yeah, literally the most accurate kicker in the history of college football. Came here, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Just mentally could not get through it. Nathan Elliott said Winston looked great because his wide receivers at FSU. NFL painful. One play I was saying that was amazing. Next play, what the
what are you doing?
He was great entertainment, man. We talked about the other day. It was like, I said that to Scott Reynolds. I was like, well, what if we do need an experienced backup here in Tampa Bay? What do you think of Jameis Winston? He's like, his head like almost exploded. He's like, no, Jameis Winston. I'm like, well, would you rather have Jameis Winston or Kyle Trask as your backup? Thoughts?
I know which one I'd rather have.
Which one?
I'd rather have Jameis.
Well, of course, because we're in the interesting business.
You're right. Better to talk about.
Yeah.
More quotable,
Kyle
right?
Trask is as boring as milk toast. Like, you just have to, like, what do you say? Kyle Trask. Yeah. He hadn't played. We don't know. Could be good. Might not be good. Doesn't have much to say. Works hard. Nice guy. Oh, Rick came up with one of my favorites. The great story of Toe Nash.
Oh, boy.
Toe Nash. Have you ever heard the story of Toe Nash?
I want to say
This is another Rays special. Early Rays, Devil Rays special. Toe Nash. I got to look that one up tomorrow. But my recollections are, so we go and find this guy who's playing in the prison league in Louisiana Swamp. And he's like this young kid, like nobody even knows where he came from. He like just kind of oozed out of the swamp. And he's just big, country, strong, kind of, I don't know, Cajun, barely talk, but he would just hit balls, moonshots, just hit moonshots. So the Rays signed him, and they brought him out to the public and the PR thing again. And interview was just like a disaster. It was, I don't know whose idea that was, but he was this mythical player. And they sent him to single A, and he couldn't hit the curveball. And so it washed out.
His dad, they had a documentary. Jeremy Schaap did a thing on ESPN about him back in the day.
Toe Nash?
Yeah, and I remember they're talking about his dad taught him to hit using bottle caps.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have baseballs.
Yeah. How about that? Good, great story. Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan, says Tom. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Where do we come
Remember
up with
him?
these nicknames?
Yeah. Scotty Fitz says Wander Franco and Antonio Brown. Wander Franco, honestly, we haven't mentioned, is the most obvious. Like, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he, over all those disappointments that we just talked about, and that was a lot of them. There's a lot of disappointment in Tampa Bay sports. Wander Franco may end up being the biggest loser or winner.
Especially if he never plays another game with the Rays, especially.
And again, if you haven't heard, we've been talking about this for a long time, and there seemed like the evidence was really stacked against him. But as the evidence was presented, from what I can tell, I mean, we're reading reports and we're having to translate them. And then Mark Topkin's been doing a good job of trying to get the information out. Sorry, my allergies are starting to hit again. But he said basically that the charges have been reduced to 5 years. They're trying to get 5 years in jail now for sexual assault of a minor, I think. So all these other charges have gone away. So it kind of feels like their entire case is collapsing. And I don't think in the way the DR works and the way our justice system works, I just don't think, I think he's going to be acquitted. We'll find a verdict on 30, and it's a 3-judge panel that does it. So, yeah.
Wow.
And then what?
Yeah. If he's
You gotta
acquitted,
pay him.
if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit, JP.
Well, the glove's going to fit back on his hand again.
Yeah, he'll be playing for the Rays. Will he be playing for the Rays if he is acquitted? We've talked about this, but we didn't think it would happen.
From a practical matter, he ain't cracking this lineup right now until he goes and plays a couple months in minor league.
I mean, yeah,
Oscar Kim, Taylor Walls is killing it. Caballero, and you don't want to bring that into your clubhouse. You don't want that dude he was persona non grata among his teammates. I don't think the Rays have to trade him. If he becomes an asset, well, I think he's gonna face a lengthy, at least 1 year suspension from Major League Baseball, at least. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it this year. But that,
it's that's going to be a 30 for 30 right there. We got a lot of 30 for 30s based out of Tampa right now with the Rays.
Yeah, just hard to get the story on that one.
Yeah.
Bucs Major said, I'm tired of articles with Antonio Brown having him in a Bucs jersey. He played here for 2 seasons, and he was one of the big reasons we did not repeat as champions. Dude is fleeing the country. Is he? He's in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he was one of the biggest reasons that y'all didn't repeat, though.
I don't know, man. When he walked out of the Jets, that splintered the team, because I remember this vividly, that Bruce Arians had enough. Right. And Bruce Arians never wanted Antonio Brown.
Yep.
The Tom Brady strong arm Bruce and everybody into bringing him in. And look, they won a Super Bowl with him. He had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And Brady, in the end, I mean, you have to say bringing him in was right. Do we win a Super Bowl without Antonio Brown? I don't know. Maybe. But he was a big part of it. But that said, he was also a big part of them just self-destructing, because Arians was like, I'm done with this. Yeah. And then Mike Evans was like, don't do it, man. Don't walk off. And it was all pre-planned the night before. And Brown he was going to do it. He was premeditated. And he did it. And after that, the team wasn't the same.
Man, CTE's a bitch, isn't it?
Oh, you want to blame it on that?
I do. Because he was never like this. He was never like this before that hit from Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah, should have been thrown out of the league.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah.
What else we got? Devin White. Yep. Brandon No says, "What about Tim Beckham?" Yep. We drafted Beckham instead of Buster Posey, so that made it worse. Tim's a nice guy. He's a super nice guy. I've talked to him a bunch of times. Super nice guy, but I mean, he was. You get drafted ahead of Buster Posey. Yeah, that's not your fault.
Yeah, you better be a Hall of Famer.
That's the Rays' fault. Whoa, Trasker Winston, polar opposites. I do not know who I would take. I know it's a tough one, isn't it? Thomas Casper says, Bo Jackson #1. Now, Rick says Brody Brazil will play JP in the documentary.
Rick, I love you. JP, if you were a betting man, where would the new Rays Stadium be built? I'd imagine next to Hard Rock or Amphitheater.
Well, then somebody has to play Brody Brazil then in the documentary too. Who's going to play him?
Is he in the documentary?
He's got to be. You were on his show talking about it. He's got to have at least an uncredited role.
Tampa Bay, though. He's not. I love Brody, but he's not Tampa Bay. Bucks Mason said, I will say Jameis was great for drinking games at the stadium. Every pick, a drink a can of beer. They made more money. Every pick, you got a drink. Berto's ruined by a bad Buccaneer kicking coach. You think? I never heard that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Damon Hollins? Jonathan Torres says, LOL. Who's Damon Hollins?
I don't know who that is.
Was he a Phillies player, shortstop or something? Or was that another Hollins? Daniel Rivera says, per ESPN, Rays players likely to get moved at the deadline, Fairbanks and Littell. Well, then who's your closer? Who?
Yeah, why are they moving?
Shane Baz?
Why are they sellers right now? They should be buyers.
Well, if they're moving Littell, that means they're getting a nice piece back, right. A nice hitting piece. I don't mind them, moving Littell doesn't mean they're selling. It means they're upgrading and offensively.
Well, and we've established he's their biggest contract, right?
Yeah, but it's only like $3 million.
It's still the biggest contract on the book.
On their pitching staff, I know. And he's the one but he's the most efficient. I don't know. But again, you got to trade something to get something. And we have a surplus of starting pitching right now. Of course, that could change in a week. All right, let's take another break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get into a little bit more Wander Franco stuff. We'll get to the nuts and bolts of that. We talked about this yesterday, but Thomas Castellanos, the Noles' new quarterback, popping off like an idiot. We'll get to that. And there's some college football news. A lot of things circulating on the new score settlement that's coming down the pike. Lots of stuff going on in college football, so we'll get to that as well. We're brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you have any issues at all in those two realms, even anywhere in your home, anything mechanical, Third Generation can take care of it for you. John Rodriguez is the CEO. He's the grand poobah over there. Great dude. Saw him at the Tampa Sports Club event. Great local family. They've been here for at least three generations, thus the name. So if anything goes wrong, you just call him and say, hey, man, this didn't work out for me. Like, what's going on? So you're going to get honest service, and that's what you want for a great price in a fast way. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. Contact you through the website. Tell JP sit back in 3. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans and huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go! Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Try the branzino. The salsiccia. You need to get Paulo in to cut a new spot, have some fun with him.
Definitely.
And I need to get over there and get me some Italian food. Maybe tonight. I think we'll stop by tonight. Tonight I'm free for dinner. Paulo, I'm coming over. Let me get my sausage salsiccia. Ready. Oh, so good. All right. And we're brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Get that reservation on table. Open table, I believe.
Open table.
Top 3 in the Tampa Bay area for all restaurants by the readers. So go down over there to Cafe Paradiso, the best Italian restaurant in all of Tampa Bay, and the choice of Sal Palantonio when he comes to town. ESPN's own. And when you got a name like Palantonio, you know your Italian food.
You know your stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
You better.
For those of you who don't know, his family and my family come from the same little village in Italy. The D'Amelias and the Palantonios emigrated to America together and were commingled in New York back in the day. How about that? How about that?
Very nice.
They're probably related in some way. And that makes sense, right?
Makes a lot of sense.
We're very similar dudes. Love that guy. Love that guy.
JP, did you see? Oh, sorry. A real quick tidbit from me.
Yeah.
And I know you did not, but if anybody watched the IndyCar race on Sunday from Road America, one of the greatest, most storied road courses in all of our great country.
Where is that?
Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, the running back for the Green Bay Packers, was the what do you call it? The Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got to ride around in the 2-seat IndyCar before the race. But anyway, Santino Ferrucci, who races for AJ Foyt Racing, placed third in the race. And this is an almost 5-mile road course. Okay, so fuel is always a premium here because if you run over, you got 5 miles to try to make it back around and you're done. You're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, AJ Foyt Racing strategized their fuel perfectly because While he finished third, he ran out of fuel running across the start-finish line to finish third.
Wow.
So he is able to coast his car down to turn one, and it is a long, long front stretch before you get to turn one. And the race is over, of course. Pulls his car over, and there's grandstands right there, gets out of his car. He's waving to the crowd, and you see on TV, he points at somebody. And then you see this thing fly over the fence, and he catches it, and it's a beer. It's a can of Miller Lite.
Come on.
Right there, he cracks it, and he shotguns the beer right there in the first turn immediately after the race. Shotgunning a beer from a fan.
That is awesome.
One. How great
that
is
is
that?
awesome. After you ran out of gas.
Yeah.
That's
so,
fantastic.
he's waiting on the trucks to cut because he can't walk back. It's really far, and
he sees a dude with a cold beer, and he's like, I need one of those.
And he threw it over the fence. It's all on camera. It was all on the broadcast.
Was it a Miller Lite?
It was a Miller Lite.
Less filling.
So, Miller Lite used to be one of the sponsors for IndyCar back in the day, one of the big sponsors, and now everybody's chirping like, Miller Lite, you got to come back to IndyCar, right? You got to help AJ Foyt's team out and Santino Ferrucci. But I thought it was great, man. It was fun to watch.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
I was going to say Chandler Simpson in 16 games since being sent down. Did he brood? Did he pout? No, he hit 366, on base 416, 464 slugging, 11 stolen bases, 6 walks.
He's ready to come back.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
So we were toying around with lineups, and here's my lineup. Let me see if I can find this. And it's like I'm putting it together. I actually, at the first time when I put it together, I was like, oh, I forgot Aranda. Like, how do you forget Aranda? By the way, here's another thing from Jake, who posts Tampa Bay Race Central. Great follow. Players 21 years old and younger with 19 home runs, 50 RBI through 73 games since 1995. Junior Caminero, Albert Pujols, 2001, and Alex Rodriguez in 1996. 2 other players since 1995 have done that. 19 home runs, 50 RBI through 73 games. Albert Pujols and Alex Rodriguez, and your Junior Caminero. How about that?
Huh.
How about that?
It's impressive.
Very impressive. All right, so here's where is it? Oh. All right, so anyway, here it is. I start at the top with Chandler Simpson. Leading off, I don't care. On base, I know Aranda's on base is better, but he's slower. I want the guy at the top who hits over 300, and he's going to get better. His on base will get better. But he's constantly on base getting fastballs for the rest of these guys. Because if you throw a breaking pitch, he's going to steal second and third on you. So I start with Simpson. I'm I can move people around, but depending on the pitcher. So I'm starting with Simpson up top. Yandy Diaz, former batting champion, contact extraordinaire, in the 2-hole. Bilal in the 3-hole. Now I can trade J-Lo, Bilal, Aranda. These guys I move anywhere. But then you got Bilal in the 3-hole. He seems confident there. He likes it there. Contact, bombs. Then I got Caminero in cleanup spot. Aranda hitting 5th. Great contact. Great RBI position there. He's always putting the ball in play. Love him there. J-Lo in the 6-hole. Jansen, I'm hiding in the 7-hole, although he's been good of late and shown some pop. And then I got Hassan Kim in the 8-hole because he's, offensive. He's a career, 253 hitter.
Yeah.
It's on base. So, he could be at the top of the lineup too, but I'm bringing him back. I'm going to wait to see what he has. So I got Kim at 8 and then Mangum at 9 with his speed and his on base. So you have almost like a double leadoff, Mangum Simpson there, just absolutely breathtaking speed. And then you got all the Diaz, Bilal, Caminero, Aranda, J-Lo, and then coming off the bench, Caballero's been fantastic, as has Taylor Walls. Walls can play third and second, so you give Hassan Kim a couple days off. You give Bilal a couple days off, give Caminero, a day off, give them each one day off or whatever, and Walls just kind of makes the rounds around the infield. He's been really good. Caballero can play too, especially if you got a lefty on the mound. Plug it in Caballero, maybe at second base. Mead, I don't know. He could stay or go. And then you can go add another big right-handed bat somewhere. Maybe left field for a left field. If we got a big bat in left field, but, Simpson's going to be playing out there, Mangum, J-Lo, but, get 4 outfielders. You got to give somebody a day off every day. So a lot of versatility in that lineup, a lot of speed, a lot of contact, a lot of gap hitting, some power with Caminero and J-Lo and B-Lau. That's a nice lineup.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be scared of them.
Yeah. That's a nice lineup. I like. All right, a couple other things. Antonio Brown's on the run.
When isn't he on the run?
Heading out of the country. No more child support. All you baby mamas, go get a job. What a jackass. So he's wanted for attempted murder, and he's fleeing the country.
Yeah.
How about that?
How's that going to end up for him?
First of all, how do you get out of the country with your passport?
Oh, there's ways.
For attempted murder.
I mean, I hear.
What's that?
I hear there's ways.
You like drive across the border and in the trunk?
I don't think they stop you going the other way, do they?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. Yeah, very, very interesting. What else we got? Oh, did you see Trump on the White House lawn this morning?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard a sitting president drop an F-bomb.
I don't think we were supposed to hear that.
Oh no, we were. He said it right to the press.
He did.
But he ain't wrong.
Nope.
I mean, how long are we going to be doing this Israeli-Iran thing? How long are we going to be fighting in the Middle East? How long? Like, you guys just can't stop. And as soon as they announce a ceasefire, Israel goes and dumps a bunch of bombs on Iran.
Yep.
And he's like, they've been fighting so long, they don't know what the they're doing.
Yep. And he's right.
You ain't wrong. I mean, this dude's trying to end wars.
I'd like to see a Democrat argue with that fact.
I love the fact, like, the War Powers Act. He didn't tell us. Like, no president does that anymore. That's not we did away with that a long time ago.
He didn't declare war anyway.
Like, we're gonna go tell Ilhan Omar and AOC, hey, we're gonna bomb Iran. Like, they're not gonna run right to the first microphone. Or I think Omar has a direct line to Iran.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let you know. What? Jesus Christ.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, no. So my good Florida State is trending this morning. Why is Florida State trending? Because yesterday Thomas Castellano said, basically, if I'm getting this right, Alabama doesn't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Among other things that he said, is like, they don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. He told Pete Nakos at On 3 Sports. He says, I feel like I tore the ACC up my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team it was. Tore the ACC up? He also said he had some issues with Bill O'Brien, his coach at Boston College, which is why he got benched.
Right.
I don't get it.
That's incredible.
Some people are saying, guys, really could be delusional, but man, having a confident quarterback, it's not the worst thing in the world, folks. We all watched the worst thing in the world last year. That's Corey Clark on Tommy Castellano's comments. Mm-hmm. He ain't wrong. I mean, so if your bar is last year, me starting is better than last year. So I don't think that should be the bar that we're measuring him by.
I'm going to brag a little. I was an all-pro at every sport in elementary school.
Truth is truth. Truth is truth. All right. Anything else that we forgot or missed? today.
Gentlemen, we got a big fucking problem.
Yep. There we do. We're solving this. Who's going to buy the Rays? That's it. Thank you, Richard Nixon, a.k.a. Paul Wilson.
Paul Wilson.
Who's going to buy the Rays? We'll find out. I still think it's going to be Patrick Zalewski and his group of all-star Tampa Bay businessmen and investors. And they'll get the job done in Tampa. But I don't know. I'm off to meet with a couple of groups over the next couple of days that want things to be known about their group. So I will be reporting back to you as soon as we can. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, hello to the girls at Mons Venus for me.
Yep. Well, hey now. Go Rays tonight. Underdogs against KC with Taj on the mound. We'll see how that turns out. Have a great day, everybody.